Hi there, welcome to Nighttime Line Talks. Tonight we are a little bit surprised by the lawsuit that in California some politicians are trying to file in court. Do the governor of that state try to detour $75 million from the budget to non-profit organizations in order to help undocumented people? Honestly, I believe that the action has a very good feelings. Even the law don't allow him because he has not submit to the state congress and advisors how to take that part of money from the budget, $75 million, and help undocumented people. But there is a political year and politicians do everything possible to win. Now, at the same time, parallel to it, many Democrats says that Joe Sleepy Biden, that is in sometimes sleeping and talking from his garage or sometimes from his basement, speaking in front of the computer to give press conferences. Well, many consider that he is not doing enough to convince voters to win this nomination. And even he have the ticket, there is still a possibility on the Democratic Convention coming on, if they have it, that others auto-proclaim the right candidates. And there are many comments about the New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, who many people believe that he is the one who wants to fight against President Trump, who is looking the re-election. But President Trump is also paying the consequences of his comments. And sometimes he says things we say in our yesterday broadcast, he's out of the box, and sometimes he makes comments that don't make sense. But people is going to decide finally at the time they cast their vote. Also, the major polemic is that many of the senators that are sponsoring President Trump, Republican senators, are also not enough prepared for re-election. There is a huge list. And what happens if President Trump loses senators, Republican senators, on this election? Well, that means a lot, because remember, senators saved him from the impeachment, and the coin is on the air. Many people is going to change their mind after this pandemic. Many people is going to say what they really think, or if they believe that this pandemic affect a lot their business as a retaliation, many of them are going to vote for a different project. Others are going to keep their sponsorship to President Trump. But there is a lot of uncertainty. In fact, many people say that as we are at the end of April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months from the election, many people consider that there is not enough time for the recovery process of this pandemic and the comeback on business and run an election. Many people is asking more time because businesses are going to take a long time frame to establish the comeback on track. It's not easy for some business to endorse the organization and the procedures they have on the past. An expert was talking about that this economy is being damaged more than any other war period in the past. Just take as reference the oil prices. The oil prices are at sink, and to restructure the normality on the process is not to say, oh, we open tomorrow, let's go to sell and pump gas and everybody come back on track, prices come back to normal and everything is going to be okay. No. Doesn't work that way. The stock market is also in an adjustment period. And companies that you never expected, technology, new softwares, a lot of new things are going to have a lot of demand on the stock market. Pharmaceuticals, new energy resources, and the stabilization on the oil prices. Remember, through few years ago, oil companies were the favorites on the stock market because they have a low margin of adjustments, but they always recover gradually, but they always recover. Now, even the automakers are suffering because other countries manufacture pieces to make cars, and there is a lot of changes on the distribution line of auto parts. And last year, nobody thinks to buy an electrical car because they say, no way, the gas prices are cheap. And why to buy an electrical car if the gas cars are affordable? And let's go to do it. But no, people now is hesitating to decide between electrical and gas automobiles. And the idea is that this challenge is concerning on the market because now a lot of cars are sold online. There is a service called Carvana that is selling cars in numbers never seen before. People choose the car online. They check it every aspect, not only of the body or colors. They see also if it's reliable and the mileage per gallon. And if they like it, they decide, they order, and the car is in few hours on the door of your house. Everything is online. The loan, the request, the credit, everything is done online. What you need to do is just open Carvana and order a new car. And they are selling a lot of new cars. They have the same warranty as a car dealers, and car dealers are suffering a lot because a lot of people works there. And now they are coming back into a business that is having another face, another perspective. As experts are talking, that the conjugation of the stock market, oil prices, and the reopening of the business, not only nationwide, worldwide, is in a different proportion than the comeback on track of other projects. Other projects, when happens a situation, let's go to think on the electrical service, we don't have power couple nights. Well, they have already a contingency plan and the resolution sectors to switch back. In fact, every state, when happens tornadoes or big storms, the states help each other to restore the electrical power service as soon as they can. And we suffer cuts for a couple days, but not a big deal. Well, when a simultaneous problem happens in many fields of the daily living, oil, banks, stock market, many things, is not easy to come back by a switch. No. Because everybody is basically laid off from their job, is basically out of the job. Companies can't hold employees during the whole quarantine. Just some of them. And the stimulus plan of President Trump tried to protect companies and employees. And it's working, but it's not enough to cover the proportion of the situation. Because when the restaurants closed and President Trump sent a paycheck to every employee, but the owner don't have to pay the rent, utility bills, restock the merchandise, and do many things. I don't know for how long. Could be 2 months, could be 3 months. It's hard to decide and define. Plus, every business is changing. I was telling you, the online car sales that is becoming very successful. If a car dealer tries to come back to service on the traditional sales and it doesn't work, well, that's a problem. Because they already invest money in the reopening, and if it's not working, they have to look for a different way. And there are a lot of new ideas. For example, the fashion. The fashion is including already mouth covers. Every dress, every new suit, every new nice fancy jacket has the cover for your mouth. In case of emergency, they just pull it and they have something. Also, including sometimes gloves. They just pull it and they have gloves to don't touch possible things that are contaminated with virus. So everything changed in weeks. And we are looking in a different proportion. For example, yesterday I visited some sectors of the city. And as you know, Governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, declared that this week, gradually, the state is coming back on business, keeping the safe distance. Well, I agree with that and I really like it. But on the expressways, nobody kept the social distance. Many people were racing their cars and they were speeding. And the funniest thing I ever seen, I saw a Lamborghini pass me, new brand Lamborghini with the license plates from the dealer. And I believe a celebrity was driving and passed by very fast. And everybody was trying to see the car because it was a very fancy, nice model. And the car goes from a high-scale neighborhood in Johns Creek by the Georgia 400, the same way I was driving, and take the exit on Lenox. Lenox is the fancy restaurants area. It's like Recoleta in Argentina, or like Zona Rosa or San Angel in Mexico City, or, you know, something like that. But the case is that this pandemic is changing not only the world of business, the world of education, is also changing fashion, is changing lifestyles, and many videos, homemade, are used by headhunters to look for talents, and also are used by people who looks for they do casting for new movies, because you saw families doing jokes, jumping, many funny ideas. In television, you believe that they raised the rating, but no. Everybody was watching online videos. Nobody see the traditional TV stations. People is tired and saturated of the pandemic, of the COVID-19. Nobody likes to know anymore. So families, traditional American families, what they do is have fun playing games online, watching videos, but they don't like to know. After they understand what the pandemic is, how to stay safe, they change channels. This means they do not watch traditional TV and they have fun on YouTube, that YouTube has a lot of suggestions, or Vimeo, suggestions to find comedians, to find advice, video advice. I use it a lot. How to fix the toilet, how to fix your door, many things. And it's what people is turning on, is what people is using as a new generation of television consumers. And let's go to see the ratings next month. And if I am wrong, I apologize in advance, but I don't believe I'll be wrong. For example, a TV reporter was screening all the major news networks at the same time on prime time. And he has a split screen to put all of them together and see what's going on. Fox, CNN, ABC News, CBS News, MSNBC. Well, guess what? Dr. Anthony Fauci, the expert epidemiologist from the White House, was appearing in all the programs at the same time. And all of them announced a live interview. And it wasn't true. the same politician or the same doctor was talking on the largest networks at the same time. And the reporter on CBS Sunday Morning that editorialized the situation makes a very fun point, telling, hey, what's going on here? Everyone says we are going to interview live Anthony Fauci, and wasn't true, because he was at the same time in all the major networks. So the interview was taped and probably live in one of those, but nobody's going to find out. Only Fauci knows. Only the network knows what's going on, but not everyone. So this conversation or this brief talk is just to define the different aspects, because people is also changing the world of how they spend money. Nobody's taking bills from the ATM machine because stores don't like to touch something you touched before. Why? Because they are afraid the contamination is on the paper from the bills or coins, whatever. So banks send cards with a touchless. You don't need to run the magnetic strip or the chip at the time you pay. You just put the wallet close and you pay. Why? Because they like to help to maintain a clean way to do business, basically. Physically clean way to do business, because you come to the store, you finish scanning. Well, I do always the self-check because I don't like many people touch my stuff. I don't have any problem with that, but you know, in pandemic times, we have to avoid more people touch your items you put in your kitchen. And then what happens is I scan my stuff. At the time I pay, I don't need to take my wallet out. I just put close by my jacket and bing, paid. Ready. Or I pay with my phone. I take the cell phone and pay. Boom, ready. The world of business is changing. Everything is changing. On hospitals, you know what was the most used tool on the rooms where they have the COVID-19 under the respirators, the intensive care units? Well, the most used item was duct tape. Because in sometimes they have a hose that is split or they have a problem, they take a piece of duct tape and seal it. Or the windows were breaking because remember, with the air pressure opening and closing, they have a problem. They tape the frame of the window to avoid air in, air out. And the story is on today's New York Times. It's something funny. And if you start to make a list of how many things are changing in politics, the way we eat, the way we read books, the way people attend classes on a school, is amazing. This world changed 180 degrees in a couple weeks. Airplanes are also to have separators. Yeah. An Italian designer is doing seats for airplanes with a border cover on the sides. So you will not interact with the other passenger anymore. You will have a little bit of privacy. Or how many times happens that somebody fell to sleep on the airplane and they reclines on your shoulder? many times, or we sleep and we recline in the other person's shoulder. Well, that is going to change. Why? Oh, I was thinking where my glasses, but the camera is out of focus a little bit. Come on, camera. Come back on track. It's out of focus, camera, sorry. But everything is going to change. Everything is going to be different. And I am a little bit nervous about this out of focus situation, but it's fixing. Yeah. So it's going to be a different life. The customized medications are coming on. Major pharmaceuticals are talking that people cannot take the same milligrams pills that they make on the factory in the lab for everyone. Now medications are going to be prescribed in a customized way. That means that if the medication needs less milligrams or more milligrams of this and that, is going to change a lot. I am trying to fix this camera because I don't like out of focus camera. And yeah, now it's much better. Also, the world of entertainment is going to be different. A largest circus and concerts now are performing online. And people like it, and they watch it on largest screens at their home. And they don't mind. And sometimes what they are doing is they are performing and people can do donations to help others in need. And it's a good idea because we are in need in many different aspects of our lives. We are learning from this experience. Everyone is on a circumstantial life. Why not call that way? But it's a good introspection to recognize our failures. Now I feel the air I breathe cleaner and better. The noise is reducing a lot. And imagine the oceans. Somebody who crossed in an adventure, the ocean was telling me that he found containers floating on the middle of the ocean. An island of trash in the middle of the ocean. Few days ago, I saw a video that a friend sent me from Playa del Carmen in Mexico, where the small sharks were coming to the people. Probably they were escaping from something, and people was very surprised because they were baby sharks. Is something is getting out of control on the ecosystems, and we must come back on track. And I believe with this quarantine, we are doing a lot. Why? Because we are not driving too much. We are not throwing trash everywhere, because yes, we do. We are not consuming a lot of water bottles. And the proportion on the pollution is absolutely low. And if we do in 40 days, why not we do for the rest of our lives? Thank you. Have a good night.